Hello students, welcome to my channel. Today we will learn about adverbial particles. Adverbial particles are particles that are attached to nouns and make them into adverbial case. The first particle we will learn is something something 에. 에 can be used for both spatial and temporal explanation. Let's see the temporal one first. Temporal 에 is attached to the specific time when the verb takes place or the verb is carried out. Let me show you some examples. The first sentence is 대한민국은 8월 15일에 독립했다, which means Republic of Korea restored independence on August 15th. So, 대한민국 means Republic of Korea, and 은, we will talk about this later, and 8월 means August, and 15일 means 15th, and 에 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into on in this sentence, and 독립했다 means restored independence. And the second one is 친구와 내일 오후 6시에 만나기로 했다, which means I have an appointment with my friend tomorrow afternoon at 6 p.m. So 친구 means my friend, and 와 means with, and 내일 means tomorrow, and 오후 means afternoon, and 6시 means 6 p.m. and 에 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into at in this sentence, and 만나기로 했다 means have an appointment. Something something 에 refers to more specific time compared to other temporal adverbials we will learn in the future. So if you want to emphasize the duration of the verb, you should use other particles. Let's move on to the spatial one. This makes learners really hard, so I want to tell you why this happened. In ancient Korean, there were two different adverbial particles, 에 and 에. 에 was the temporal particle, and 에 was spatial particle. But as we learned in modern Korean, the sound of 에 is gradually changing into 에, so now we use 에 to both of the spatial and temporal adverbials. Spatial 에 shows the spatial information about the verb. It is attached to the place where the verb takes place, or it could be attached to the destination where the verb ends. For example, 내가 집에 갈 때 치킨을 사갔다. When I went home, I brought chicken. In this sentence, 내 means I, and 가 is the subjective case particle, and 집 means home, and 에 is adverbial case particle, which shows the destination in this sentence, and 갈 means went, and 때 means when. 치킨 means chicken, and 을 is objective case particle, and 사갔다 means brought. And the next one is 옆집에 사는 의사 선생님, which means the doctor who lives next door. So 옆집 means next door, and 에 is adverbial case particle, which shows that next door is the place where the verb lives takes place, and 사는 means who lives, and 의사 선생님 means the doctor. So spatial 에 is attached to the place where the verb takes place or the verb is ended, and it is always determined by the context. Usually it shows the destination when the verb involves movements. So temporal 에 shows a specific time, and spatial 에 shows a destination or the place where the verb takes place. And next adverbial case particle is something something 으로. 으로 and 로 have exactly same meaning, but they differ for easier pronunciation. Something something 으로 has three different meanings. First, it can attach to means or devices that are used to carry out the verb. Second, it can attach to identities. And for the last, it can show the spatial information just like something something 에. When 으로 is used to show the devices, it doesn't regard by the size. It could be a giant aircraft or vessel, or it could be a handheld device like a smartphone or a ladle. For example, 우리는 가위로 요리를 해요, which means we cook with our scissors. 우리 means we, and 는, we will talk about this later, and 가위 means our scissors, and 로 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into with in this sentence, and 요리를 해요 means cook. And the second one is 우리는 비행기로 한국에 왔어요, which means we came to Korea by plane. 우리 means we, and 는, we will talk about this later, and 비행기 means plane, and 로 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into by in this sentence, and 한국 means Korea, and 에 is also adverbial case particle, which is translated into to, and 왔어요 means came. And it could be used for showing identities. For example, 나는 한국인으로 태어났다. I was born as Korean. So, 나 means I, and 는, we will talk about this later, and 한국인 means Korean, and 으로 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into as in this sentence, and 태어났다 means was born. And the next one is 그는 목사로 살고 있다, which means he lives as a pastor. 그 means he, and 는, we will talk about this later, and 목사 means a pastor, and 로 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into as in this sentence, and 살고 있다 means lives. And there are spatial 으로 and 로. For example, 새들이 동쪽으로 이동했어요. The birds moves to the east. Here, 새들 means birds, and 이 is subjective case particle, and 동쪽 means the east. And 으로 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into to in this sentence, and 이동했어요 means moves. And moving on, 대통령들이 한국으로 왔어요. Presidents came to Korea. So 대통령들 means presidents, and 이 is subjective case particle, and 한국 means Korea, and 으로 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into to here, and 왔어요 means came. The biggest difference between spatial 에 and spatial 으로 is that 에 emphasized the destination and 으로 emphasized the journey, and 에 used for much more specific place than 으로. Let's compare them using sentences. The first one, 친구가 집에 갔다, which means my friend went home. In this sentence, 친구 means my friend, and 가 is an subjective case particle, and 집 means home, and 에 is an adverbial case particle, which shows the destination where the verb ends, and 갔다 means went. This sentence sounds like he almost got home since something something 에 emphasized the destination. And the next one, 친구가 집으로 갔다, which is translated the same but sounds like he is on the way home since something something 으로 emphasized the journey. Or if you want to make it ambiguous, you can leave out the case particle, which also makes it less polite, like 친구는 집 갔어. And there is someone 걔. 걔 shows the giver and receiver, and 걔 always used with something something 에. Let me show you some examples. The first one, 친구에게 선물을 받았다. Which means I received a present from my friend. Here, 친구 means my friend and 에게 is adverbial case particle which translated into from, and 선물 means a present and 을 is objective case particle and 받았다 means received. So 게 always used with something something에. And the next one is 아이에게 사탕을 줬다, which means I gave a candy to a child. Here, 아이 means a child and 에게 is adverbial case particle which is translated into to here, and 사탕 means a candy and 을 is objective case particle and 줬다 means gave. As you can see, someone 게 can be used with both receiving verbs and giving verbs. And there is someone 게, which is the former version of someone 게. 게 only can be used with giving verbs unlike 게. For example, 부장님께 선물을 드렸다. I gave a present to my boss. Here, 부장님 means my boss and 게 is adverbial case particle which is translated into to here, and 선물 means a present and 을 is objective case particle and 드렸다 means gave. And the next one, 할머니께 어깨 안마를 해드렸다, which means I gave my grandmother a shoulder massage. So in this sentence, 할머니 means my grandmother and 게 is adverbial case particle and 어깨 안마 means a shoulder massage and 를 is objective case particle and 해드렸다 means gave. The next particle we will learn is something 서, which shows the place where the verb is carried out or the starting point of the verb. When something 서 is used to show the starting point, it must be used with something 에, just like 에게 we just learned. But we will talk about it later, and let's learn about the one that shows the place. Place marking 서 shows the place where the verb is carried out. For example, 저기서 사람이 쓰러졌다. Someone collapsed over there. In this sentence, 저기 means there, and 서 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into over here, and 사람 means someone, and 이 is subjective case particle, and 쓰러졌다 means collapsed. And the next one is 여기서 기다리고 있을게요, which means we will wait right here. So 여기 means right here, and 서 is adverbial case particle which shows the place, and 기다리고 있을게요 means we'll wait. The difference between spatial 에 and spatial 서 is that 에 emphasizes the place since it shows the place where the verb takes place, and 서 emphasizes the verb since it shows the place where the verb is carried out. Let me show you some examples. The first sentence is 저기에 사람이 쓰러졌다. Someone collapsed over there. Here, 저기 means there, and 에 is adverbial case particle which is translated into over, and 사람 means someone, and 이 is subjective case particle, and 쓰러졌다 means collapsed. This sentence emphasizes the place where the someone collapsed. And the second sentence is 저기서 사람이 쓰러졌다, which we learned before. Since something 서 emphasizes the verb, not the subject or place, this sentence sounds like someone collapsed there a long time ago. So the first one can be used in urgent situations when someone just collapsed, and the second one can be used to warn people by telling them someone collapsed there before. So now we learned 으로, 에, 게, 게, and 서. Now here comes the best part. You can build a bigger adverbial case particles by putting them together. First, there is something something에서, which is the compound of 에 and 서. 에서 shows the origin or spatial starting point of the verb. First, let's see the case that shows the origin. The first example is 이 커피는 콜롬비아에서 왔다. This coffee is from Colombia. 이 means this, and coffee means coffee, and then we will talk about this later, and Colombia means Colombia, and 에서 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into from in this sentence, and 왔다 means came. And the next one is 라텍스는 고무나무에서 뽑는다, which means latex is extracted from the gum tree. So 라텍스 means latex, and then we will talk about this later, and 고무나무 means gum tree, and 에서 is adverbial case particle, which is translated as from here, and 뽑는다 means is extracted. spatial에서 is like compound of spatial 에 and spatial 서. It emphasizes both the place and the verb, so it sounds more active and dynamic. The first sentence is APEC은 경주에서 열리고 있다. APEC is taking place in 경주. APEC means APEC, and 은, we will talk about this later, and 경주 means 경주, and 에서 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into in this case, and 열리고 있다 means is taking place. And the next one is 그는 운동장에서 뛰었다. He ran in the playground. 그 means he, and then we will talk about this later, and 운동장 means playground, and 에서 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into in this sentence, and 뛰었다 means ran. Let's compare 에, 으로 with 에서. 에 can be attached to destinations, and 으로 can be attached to both destinations and directions, and 에서 can be attached to any space and modifies unoriented and non-directional verbs. In a nutshell, something something에서 is unoriented, non-directional, while 에 and 으로 can be used for directions and destinations. And we have someone 으로서. In this case, someone 으로 shows identities like kinship, occupations, or nationalities, and 서 shows the cause. It is used when someone's identity becomes a cause, obligation, or duty. Let's break down those examples. The first one is 그는 한국인 남성으로서 군에 복무했다, which means he served at the military as a Korean male. So 그 means he, and then we will talk about this later, and 한국인 means a Korean, and 남성 means male, and 으로서 is an adverbial case particle which is translated into as in this sentence, and 군 means the military, and 에 is another adverbial case particle which is translated into at, and 복무했다 means served. And moving on, 그는 미국인으로서 국기와 국가에 충성을 맹세했다. He pledged allegiance to his flag and the republic as American. In here, 그 means he, and then we will talk about this later. And 미국인 means American, and 으로서 is adverbial case particle which is translated into as. And 국기 means his flag, and 와 means and, And 국가 means the republic. And 에 is another adverbial case particle, but this 에 is different from what we learned. This 에 shows the target or the goal, which is translated into to here. And 충성 means allegiance. And 을 is objective case particle. And 맹세했다 means pleased. And there are someone에게 and someone에게로. 에게 is a combination of 에 and 게, and 에게로 is the combination of 에게 and 으로. As I said, 게 always used with 에, and 에게 can be attached to both receivers and givers. Since we already learned about 에게, let's move on to 에게로. 에게로 shows the receiver of the package. It is quite literally expression since it emphasizes the journey of the package. It usually used with someone에게서. Let's break down this example real quick. 나는 친구에게로 선물을 보냈다. I sent a present for my friend. Here, 나 means I, and 는, we will talk about this later, and 친구 means my friend, and 에게로 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into for. And 선물 means present, and 을 is objective case particle, and 보냈다 means sent. Next adverbial particle is someone에게서, which consists of 에서 and 게, which shows the attached noun is a person who sent the package. Let me show you some examples. 왕위는 여왕에게서 왕자에게로 이어졌다. The throne was succeeded from the queen to the prince. 왕위 means the throne, and 는, we will talk about this later, and 여왕 means the queen, and 에게서 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into from in this sentence, and 왕자 means the prince, and 에게로 is also an adverbial case particle we just learned, and it is translated into to. And 이어졌다 means was succeeded. And the next one is 문화적 자산은 이전 세대에게서 이후 세대에게로 이어진다. Cultural asset passed to next generation from old generation. 문화적 자산 means cultural asset, and 은, we will talk about this later, and 이전 세대 means old generation, and 에게서 is adverbial case particle, which translated into from, and 이후 세대 means next generation, and 에게로 is adverbial case particle, which is translated into to, and 이어진다 means pass. And the next one is someone께서. If you put 게 and 서 together, it becomes 께서, which means it's given from someone higher than you. It is a subjective case particle, not like the other compound particles. Let's break down those examples. The first one is 증조부께서 물려주신 가부. The heirloom descended from my great-grandfather. 증조부 means my great-grandfather, and 께서 is subjective case particle, and 물려주신 means descended from, and 가부 means heirloom. And the second one is 임금님께서 하사하신 땅, which means the land that given by the king. In this sentence, 임금님 means the king, 께서 is subjective case particle, and 하사하신 means that given by, and 땅 means the land. Let's take a recap. I'll show you the most fundamental and original meaning of simple particles first. something으로 is about a way. something에 is about a specific place. someone 게 is about a person. someone께 is a higher form of someone께, so you can use them to your boss, your teacher, your superior, or to elders. something서 is about an origination. Let's take a recap for the compound particles. something에서 can be attached to a place or a starting point. someone에게서 is attached to a sender. someone에게로 emphasize the journey of the package and attach to a receiver. someone에게 can be attached to a receiver or a sender. someone으로서 is about the duty and responsibility. Today, we learned some adverbial particles and how to build bigger particles from them. And that's it for today. See you guys in the next video.